Right, so I mean, just welcoming everybody who are, if you're live on YouTube or if you're watching the replay, maybe you know something about these regular Sundays that we do. Maybe you don't know anything. So maybe just for those who don't know anything, Courses for Spirits platform where you can come and do courses that help you to grow spiritually, to awaken. A lot of people are waking up on the planet. And then on a Sunday, we gather online and we will start with a meditation just to arrive and ground. One of the reasons that we wanted to be doing these things live is because, you know, when you're going through a change, when you're starting to feel different about yourself and you're different about the way that you relate to the world, we could call it spiritual growth, we could call it personal development, you can call it waking up. It's, it can be it can be a lonely thing, especially if you haven't connected to a community of people who don't think that you're going bonkers, because you're going through these changes. Maybe you're believing your worldview is shifting, you are experiencing yourself differently, you've got a different relationship to what you thought mattered before. Maybe some new things matter more to you and old things don't, and relationships can become difficult, especially if people don't understand what's happening for you. So that's kind of why we're here, in our very I don't know, I don't know how you describe it. At least we show up. We can say that, can't we, Mason? We show up. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 definitely. That's a good way to say it too. That's a good way to feel sense of community or kind of what we're doing. Like why we're here, just to feel connected to something, right? Like that, being connected to something that you can resonate with, that has a lot of positive leads, positive feelings, like validation, confirmation, the ability to get your ideas flowing or going, or yeah, just knowing you're not alone in some things. Those are all parts of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of providing a space where maybe some of the things that you're going through, the changes you're going through, might make a bit of sense in the context of this, what we're doing here. So shall we? We were chatting earlier, and we thought what we would do is there's a word been coming to me over the last week or so, which is hijack. Hijacked. It's like, and so we thought we might talk a little bit today about how your nervous system can be hijacked, so that and we'll go into more depth about what we mean by that, by the hijacking of the nervous system. But to begin with, we're going to have a meditation. I'm sorry, I just looked out the window because the fire brigade have just drawn up outside my house in London, and I'm assuming it's not for this house, so because I can't smell any burning, so I think it's my neighbours, I think. But should we start with a meditation just to center?
Hmm.
Okay. Do you want to lead that, Mason? I'm happy to do it.
Yeah,
Or do you want to have a go?
yeah, I could try. We could just go with the moment here, but well, you're okay to sit, right? I mean, can you see that your neighbors are okay? Can you like bring yourself to yourself even with that happening?
It doesn't look very frantic out there. They're just sitting in the fire engine. Nobody looks particularly concerned, so it's probably all right.
Okay.
If I need to go out, I'll go out a bit right now. Let's meditate.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. Okay, great. Sounds good. Yeah, if there's no hustle or no black plumes of smoke, that's good. But yeah, just to meditate or just to bring meditation into yourself or into the space, even just for a few short moments here. We'll just go until it feels, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, something like that. But if you just start you just start very casually. You just start getting comfortable. You just start making yourself comfortable, whether you're sitting down or laying down. It's probably better sitting down. But if you just start getting yourself comfortable and slowly start to notice what's happening in your body as you sit and as you relax. Notice just notice yourself relaxing first into the seat that you're in before you jump into meditation. So if you just relax and notice your breath, try to notice the pace of your breath, just let it go naturally. Just let it feel like a natural rhythm. And then notice all the micro tensions in your body. Notice everything in your body adjusting. Just start to notice what your body's doing. Just pay attention to your body for a few moments here. And try to relax even deeper into your body. Try to find places in your physical body where you could relax and try to relax into those places more deeply. And and as you start to feel more relaxed, start to notice the present moment. Start to notice all the micro tensions in your body, all the little shifts, the itches, the twitches, the adjustments. Pay attention to your breath again. And as you relax more into your body, try to notice what kind of thoughts are arising in your mind. Don't try to change them. Don't try to adjust them. Don't try to slow them down. Just try to notice them, what's coming up. And try to notice with the thoughts that are coming, like what comes up in your body with those thoughts. What effect do those thoughts have on your body right now as you're sitting, as you're feeling, as you're breathing? And just try to observe what is happening automatically. Just try to watch what is happening automatically. Try to watch what is happening in your body while paying attention to your breath and trying to relax into the process. And no matter what comes up, what type of thought and what type of feeling in the body those thoughts may or may not produce, I invite you to try to relax even deeper into that, to allow that to happen as naturally as it could possibly happen, with as little interference from you as possible. Try to observe what is happening naturally. And simply by observing what is happening automatically, by simply observing what is happening, that creates a form of discipline and it creates a form of separation from what is happening. Of course, it's all one system. And our mind, our body, and our spirit, our thoughts and our feelings are all one thing in our identity. But if you could just observe the parts that are happening automatically just for these few moments and decide if you learned something about yourself. And so this practice, as we slowly will conclude, is in one way a form of taking your nervous system back if it's been hijacked, taking the overthinking back if your thoughts have been hijacked. And so this stillness, this slowing down by noticing can retrieve parts of yourself if they've been hijacked. And from this place, you can observe anything that's happening in your life. You can observe your situations, you can observe yourself, you can observe how your situations affect yourself. And so as we create this space time and time again, we make it easier to come back to this space. And so when you're ready at your own pace, I invite you again to come back to the space, back online, back to the group discussion, and possibly just, open your eyes, move your neck, move your head, move your shoulders, maybe make some physical adjustments again. And from here on out, from the rest of the talk, just notice the quality of your thoughts or notice how you feel right now. How was that, Mike? How do you feel?
Just, well, you get a sense of spaciousness that opens up inside you and around you. Even from a short meditation like that, which thank you for leading that as well. It was really, really lovely done. Really, really, really beautiful. And it was a nice segue into the theme that we're going to talk about, which is your nervous system being hijacked. And so maybe we should talk about a little bit about what we mean by that. So if we're talking about the nervous system, the simplest way that I think about that is, if you have a thought, it's like switching on a switch. So if you're thinking something, say you're thinking something, a very pleasant thought, like, wow, I love my great big cuddly bear. You've got a cuddly bear, and I love my cuddly bear. Or if you're thinking about kittens or cat, or dogs, or or a baby smiling and safe, or just thinking about something that you love and you feel good about. When you think like that, your body responds. So your nervous system responds. A signal has to travel from wherever the thought is originating. Let's say it's originating in your brain, and and it's moving out, and then your body responds. Maybe your heart slows and opens. You feel a warm feeling there. Maybe you relax. You are helping us to relax the tension in our throats and our shoulders and our bodies, to notice it. So that's a thought, and there's a signal goes through the body, and the body responds with either a lessening of tension or an increasing attention. And we also know that the nervous system carries signals that then causes different hormones to be released, whether that's the kind of stressy hormones that get you ready because you're in danger, or if it's a relaxation because you feel safe. So that very, very, let's just think about it in the most basic form. The way that it was first described to me that made me really go, oh wow, I wish I'd known that about 20 years ago, was just like, it's just like, imagine you've got a light bulb in your room, and there's a wire that goes to a switch, and when you switch the switch, the light bulb comes on. Signal. So the electricity flows through the wire and the bulb lights up. So if we think about ourselves, our body's almost like this battery, and then you have a thought, which is like letting the energy flow, and then the body responds, and you feel something, and that can either be on a scale from really, really, really incredibly pleasant to absolutely awful. And what we're talking about is psychological pain or psychological pressure, because we're thinking about something. Simple as that. So that's the very, very basic thing. And so, with a knowledge of that system, if somebody wanted to, and people do want to, for obvious reasons, someone can start to manipulate that system by getting you to think about things the way they want you to think about them, so that you behave in the ways that they'll behave. They want you to behave. So it's not conspiracy theory. It's just kind of looking at how this works. So, a really simple example that everybody's familiar with is, say, basically every toothpaste, pretty much the same. The commercial toothpaste that you buy, pretty much the same stuff. It does the same job. Actually, how you clean your teeth has got a lot more to do with which toothpaste, all of that kind of stuff. But if you watch TV, you will see lots of adverts where people are brushing their teeth, and they're incredibly attractive, and they're very popular because they're using that brand of toothbrush. And there's like, I always remember this woman in Britain. We had this woman who was, she got off a motorbike, and she took her helmet off, and she shook. I mean, this toothpaste made your hair look great as well. And then she flashed a smile, and then somebody comes and meets her, and she's popular, and she's like, it's getting you to buy the toothpaste. So your nervous system, because when you're waking up from materialism. We could say that it's like the idea that who I am is what I own or what I earn, and my status and how much I'm worth has got something to do with the material things that I have. And of course, having material access to material things is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's more comfortable, but it's got nothing to do with your worth. And so that's one way. As you're waking up from materialism, you're beginning to you get confused about your self-worth, because maybe before you were, or maybe you were rejecting things consciously, but as you sort of come into this awareness, you begin to realize that I just don't believe in that stuff anymore. That's one way. So that's one way that your nervous systems gets hijacked.
I think you're right, Mike. I think you're totally right. In the advertisements too, right? They're designed to give you that dopamine spike, that kind of dopamine rush. Like you think when you imagine yourself like you're gonna get nicer teeth and nicer hair if you buy that toothpaste. Like you get that physical reaction, that dopamine spike, which is the same as like a sugar hit or it gets like a real feel good thing or advertising to you. So like it's a really nasty way to hijack someone, is to, like you said, to make you think certain things and manipulate your own brain chemistry so that it feels so good to be irresistible to do this thing. Yeah. And I think that starts to lose its like lust and wonder when you're like, waking up, you're starting to maybe like seek truth a little more. Like you can only look in one direction. It's like those things tend to start to fade a little bit in certain ways, or you just appreciate them differently.
Yeah. And then other ways that you get hijacked is the school system. I was a school teacher for 25 years. I'm not anti-school at all, and I'm certainly pro teachers, because some of the most wonderful people I've met have been teachers, and I absolutely loved being a teacher. But the system started to become oppressive for me, which is why one of the big reasons why I left. But the school system. Like, think about it. You start to be given tasks to do, and then you have to do those tasks in a kind of a timed way, and you get ranked in terms of how good you are at taking tests. And so you start to, you can feel shame and humiliation if you're not good at a narrow band of skills. You're not kind of writing and all very literacy based, you know.
Yeah.
And then this performative self starts to grow, where you think you have to get things right, get the answer right in order to be okay, and it feels bad not to get it right, and it feels good to be praised, but then you become scared that the praise will go away. So you're on this kind of hamster wheel. So that's another way that you get all through the basic thing of, if I can get you to think in a way that you don't question, that then those thoughts will interact with your nervous system. You'll feel that in your body, and your reactions, the actions that you take, will become relatively predictable.
Yeah. I mean, do you think we another way of do you think we hijack ourselves, or do you think it's always like an external coercive force?
Well, once the job's done, so the Jesuit priests, they say, give me the child up to the age of 7, and I'll give you they said the man. Give me the boy up to the age of 7, and I'll give you the man, because they only took in boys. Because what they would basically, that was a knowledge of, like, well, if we can get this basic belief system in place, and you sort of build that from a kind of 0 to about 7, and it's pretty much formed by your basic kind of worldview is kind of set up by the time you're 7.
Yeah.
Then we do it to ourselves, you know, and people who are finding this video online will be very familiar with the way we worry about how we're appearing to other people, and what other people think of us, and how well we're doing, and are we succeeding or are we failing, and all of that stuff goes on, and then we do it to ourselves. Yeah, helped along by being part of a culture which is kind of set up to get us to basically buy stuff, use it, chuck it away.
Hmm. Yeah. I wonder, it's like there's a lot of tools, and I know a bunch of tools to regain control, to regulate, to re-hijack yourself back when you've been on a hijacked nervous system ride. It's still so hard to do sometimes, I find, right? Even with lots of practice, lots of techniques that are helpful, that can be, it's still a very hard thing to do. This what we're talking about here. It's like being hijacked here. Yeah.
Well, I think it's just a useful thing to realize that process happens to everybody, because I mean it happens first of all, as a baby. When you come in as a baby, then the environment that your mother's in, what kind of experiences that she's having, what kind of beliefs she has about herself, what kind of sounds, what's the vibration around you. Are you coming into a place of harmony and kind of like a loving environment? Many people would have come into a mix, like sometimes a bit of the kind of normal tensions that are just part of human life. So this isn't about being good or bad. This isn't, and this is not to judge what happens. It's just to acknowledge it, because as you're having an awakening experience, as you're becoming more conscious, you're looking around you, and you're going, actually, this, I don't believe in this stuff anymore. This doesn't make sense to me, you know. And that can be kind of confusing, but it's just to recognize that it happens to everybody, all of us. And so it's nobody's fault. Often people feel bad that they're not feeling successful, or they're not feeling happy, or they're confused. It's not your fault, And actually, the
Yeah.
confusion it's a positive thing to be in that confused state, because it means that something's shifting for you. You're coming out of the path that was set for you, and you're coming into something that's much more to do with your unique journey.
I feel like when I think about, you've been set on the path and, you've had maybe trauma from in the womb and like the school system, whatever, like, I feel like being conditioned, and there's being slowly conditioned and coddled along. And then there's being like hijacked, which is like kind of an abrupt, maybe even violent, like jerking situation. I feel the more conditioned away from our true nature that we are, the worse the hijacking gets if like trauma hits or life hits or we're getting upset about everything, right? I mean, I think, and even we kind of see that in society now. There's a lot of wave of victimhood about perceivably small issues, right? But like in some people's minds. But yeah, I think yeah, I'm just thinking about that, the difference between like conditioned and hijacked. And then waking up is kind of leaving both of those and getting to your true nature. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually a nice definition. I hadn't thought of that. So, because you got the conditioning, which is this process that goes on, everybody's subjected to it, and of course, now that we're in 20, this is being recorded in 2025. We've had many years now of algorithms that are tuned to literally get you to doom scroll, and
Yeah.
there was the whole thing in 2016 with a company called Cambridge Analytica, who had worked out how to get data on you and send you a story that would fit with the way that your worldview, and they'd find a way of like tailoring the story to each individual to get people to behave in a particular way, hijacking people that way.
So yeah. So I think it's getting. I want to use the word it's getting worse, but I think I want to use the word it's getting more challenging. In the world I think we're growing in, I feel as though there's more challenges all the time, more things that want to hijack us, whether it's a phone, it's a company, it's the internet, it's our own addictions, it's our own behaviors. Like I think there's more of everything happening as the population grows, as we evolve, as we get more advanced in every way, as more things start to happen in the world. I think there's more. So it's like we have to like so like why I'm saying that I think is as there's more challenges, that's encouraging me to sharpen up more, to grow my skill set more, to grow. I mean, you know, I don't know. I feel like part of the awakening process also is you kind of leave your comfort zone and decide to like you grow a bit. Awakening is growing and expanding, and I think that leads into like out of the comfort zone and into where life gets challenging. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like pointing a finger at that. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. So like what came up for me was kind of what can you do? What can you do about it? What can you do? And there are some things that are really, really simple that are going to help. Doesn't take away the challenge that you're talking about, because the spiritual path is a challenging path. It's the challenges that make you look for the solutions. And as you start to look for a solution, the solution comes to you. Not immediately,
Yeah.
not straight away when you look for it, but this is the whole thing about, people talk about seeking, being a seeker, what you're seeking, and you're seeking that kind of answer to the questions that you've got in your mind, and you're looking for peace, really, like a sense of peace, that peace that we felt during that original meditation that you did. you know
Yes, yeah. And that's the thing. I feel like no matter how much, if you got 20 or 30 years of conditioning this way, and you've been hijacked 10,000 times in your life, and it's just this jagged line that way, you can meditate and in 20 minutes come back to center. It doesn't matter how far hijacked you are. It the truth like always exists, and I feel as though meditation kind of gets us back,
Yeah.
at least looking that way, at least looking in that direction, right? And the more you do it, the more you kind of are drawn in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. So, finding meditations, and they're all over YouTube, aren't they? I mean, there's so many different meditations that you can do, and a guided meditation is a good thing. And then you can think about just kind of looking at the structure of your life a little bit and like building in, just doing something slightly different with the start of the day and doing something different with the end of the day, rather than sort of waking up looking at the phone, or waking up and watching TV, or waking up and putting on the radio and stuff. If you can wake up in the morning and have a short meditation, or have a little ritual that you like. Maybe when you wake up, you give yourself 10 minutes just to look around the room and listen to what's happening in the room, rather than getting straight out of bed and going to do the thing that you're gonna do. Or just 10 minutes of just relaxing in bed, breathing. There's lots of different things. You'll find each person finds the thing that's right for them. And then at the end of the day, rather than looking at the phone or watching a movie or something in bed, it's like just turn everything off, maybe 20 minutes before. And then you might have a book that's a comforting book that's full of like ideas that you want to believe in, or ideas that you wish you believed, or ideas that are appealing to you. And you can read that as you're falling asleep. And maybe you have like a nice soft lighting or things like so. You're just pampering yourself a little bit, in that you're softening everything in the morning and you're softening everything in the evening. And those are basic things that a person can do in order to start to nourish themselves and look after themselves as you go through this awakening process, this change, because it's really it's a profound thing that's happening to people. As conditions in the world become so bad, people go like, "What? Hold on, this can't be right. What's going on? Why is everything going crazy?" Well, everything's going crazy because the way that we've just the way that we've gone in terms of the way that we're thinking about ourselves and the way we're treating ourselves and we're treating each other. We've wandered quite a long way from anything you could say was wise. So people are kind of waking up to, I'd like more wisdom in my life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think you're right, Mike. I think you're right. I think I think it's pretty challenging out there. I think it's pretty rough out there,
Just a
you
bit.
know? Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this topic is so expansive. I don't know where to begin. It's just, yeah. But yeah, getting away from the phone, the screens, the hijacking things, taking a deep breath that gets your nervous system back. I'm all about grounding in the present moment to get away from being hijacked. Like anxiety, you would think of it. Anxiety is a big hijacker, you know, and a lot of anxiety is made up of our thoughts that lead to feelings that lead to behaviors. So, um, like the breath, again, the breath. You take a breath in through the nose, long, short, shallow breaths. I'm sorry, long, short, deep breaths. Long, deep breaths sends a signal to the nervous system, like you're like turn the fight or flight off. You're safe. It's like when we're getting chased by a predator and we're like breathing really quickly in shorts to get that oxygen quick so we can run away from the danger, the attack. But if we're just breathing slow and calmly, it sends a signal to the body to be, hey, less anxiety. No need for adrenaline to run. So you can unhijack yourself if you have anxiety with breath.
Yeah, and not necessarily in a way that works every time for you. You know, it's okay for not to be able to calm yourself down when you're anxious. That's okay. That's okay. That's not another failure. That's not like another failure to add, because sometimes this can get quite tricky for people, because people like you and I will come on and start saying, well, when you're feeling anxious, do this and do this and do this and do this, and you try it and it doesn't do the job. You know, it doesn't
Yeah.
work. And then you go, oh well, that's rubbish. Then what am I going to do now? I'm lost. But no, it's that's all part of this process. Just think in terms of a process, and sometimes one thing's going to work better than something else. So, for instance, another thing is, if you can, just go out and find some area where there's some trees, where it's green, and listen out for the bird song. Listen for the birds singing. Because if you can hear the bird, then you're present. Because you have to be present to hear birdsong. Because you know, people are watching. You'll recognise the times when you could be walking down in any area. Even there's lots of birds in cities. You could be, and you've just, all you're listening to is the thoughts in your head going round and round and round and round and round. That's all you're listening to. And you can't. The birds are singing, but you can't hear them. So if you listen for the birds, that's a way of bringing you into presence, because you hear them singing, and actually as you become more sensitive you can feel their hearts beating as well, because they've got these lovely beautiful pure hearts, birds. And it brings you back into presence. So you know, there's that feeling of spaciousness, and then your thoughts will start up again, and you know, you'll have an interaction, and you'll have judgments about people, and you'll have judgments about yourself, and all of that stuff's going on. And that's okay. It's not like you're trying to get rid of it, but you're noticing it. You're noticing it.
Yeah.
You know, so I think you know, it's just, I guess that was just the thing that occurred to me, and you know, I was thinking about the way that things are developing with artificial intelligence, and then this ability to have a lot of data on people, and somebody who wanted to use that in order to control people, for instance, then there's a much higher sophistication happening in terms of the way that we're hijacked emotionally through our screens, through pictures and words and images that we see. And also we've got the conditioning that we've had from a society that's been divorced from wisdom for, I don't know how long, but for quite a while. You know, and so for me, I think the message that I wanted to convey somehow today, this Sunday, is it's like, it's okay that it's difficult, because it is difficult. And there are some people who have spontaneous awakenings, and they might talk about it as if that, you know, all you, it's easy, so why aren't you awakened or stuff. You might get all of that kind of stuff, and I would say, you know, if that doesn't resonate with you, then I would trust that, because it's not a performance, it's not an attainment, it's a process that lots of people are going through, because this is the time where people who've been seeking, this is the time where you find the thing that you're seeking. This is, we're coming into that time period now, right? So be gentle with yourself, be kind to yourself. Change maybe the way that you're going to sleep at night, so that things are gentle and softer for you, and you're nourishing yourself with something uplifting that fills you with a sense of hope and peace. Yeah? You're not being I don't know, what do you say? What do you say over in North America when, is it Pollyanna? Like when people believe in things that aren't true just because they want to, you know?
Well, I don't know, a fantasist or like a make believer or something. A Pollyanna, I don't know.
Snowflake. I've heard people being called snowflakes.
Dreamers.
You
I don't
dr-
know.
yeah, be a dreamer.
Yeah.
Like, believe in peace, believe in love, believe in universal brotherhood and sisterhood, but like, because those things, that is true. That's the truth. And read those books or listen to those programs or the podcasts or whatever, gently, gently, as you're sliding into sleep. That's a great thing to have going into your subconscious mind as you're falling asleep. And when you wake up, rather than rushing into the news or anything like that, just make some space for yourself. And maybe have a very short meditation, even that's just that one breath that Eckhart Tolle teaches about, one conscious breath. And know that as you're going through the day, you will be challenged. And so rather than trying to solve all of the challenges in your head before you wake up, just take it one step at a time, one stage at a time. If it's challenging to get out of bed in the morning, then make that the thing that you focus on first thing. It's getting out of bed, doing the things that you need to do to get, to get ready to leave the house if you need to leave the house. Whatever those tasks are, just do the bit in front of you. Don't try and do 5 or 6 stages ahead of yourself. Just do each one as you come to it. That's another way to help, because it can be quite an overwhelming thing. It's a big change. It's a big change going from a conditioned, sort of hijacked nervous system coming into an appreciation of nature, appreciation of community, an appreciation of eating more healthy, connection, and it can be kind of lonely as well if it's happening to you and your circle of friends are not into that stuff. So be kind to yourself. Always, 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 always be kind to yourself. You didn't do this. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility, because it's your mind, it's your body, and coming back into a state of peace is absolutely possible. I say that because I'm sort of, I've got a few decades of that journey, like of being a seeker, and then beginning to start to find, which is just it's brilliant. It's just something you don't expect to happen. You think you're always, that can be an identity, can't it? Being a seeker.
100%. Yeah, you can get wrapped up in that. I'm seeking. Everything that you do, you feel like you got to seek like the answer, right?
Makes
Sometimes things
you,
don't.
makes you anxious, doesn't it?
Yeah, sometimes things don't need a big, deep meaning, right? Sometimes I think to myself, oh, what's the meaning in this? Great. If not, if I can't think of it right away, I just wait for it to pass. And if it just passes on its own, I would have wasted a lot of time and energy trying to get to the bottom of the mystery to see how I'm supposed to adjust my personality because of this one thing. And those things happen daily, so I can't be rewriting my personality daily. But I can be growing and evolving slowly over time.
Yeah, so that's a skill that you have to learn, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was like trial and error. Had to learn it. Yeah, but even what you said earlier about what was it, Mike? About oh yeah, the spiritual journey and how like the challenge leads to the change. The challenge after is like what helps you grow, right? So it's like really a necessary part of it. It's a very yin and yang philosophy. That was a thing I learned on the spiritual seeking path. Was that thing about life? Like, oh, challenges come with rewards. It's challenge isn't something that I just don't like. My construction job I had that I found very difficult, that I wasn't very good at lifting steel. That wasn't like a challenge that I just didn't like. It was, whatever. Anyway, have reward. But yeah,
Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
yeah. So it is challenging. It is challenging. The Buddha, when the Buddha sat down and said that, he tried. People don't know. I mean, I am not an expert in Buddhism, but I do know a little bit about it. So I'm not a practicing Buddhist. That's not really my path. But when Buddha left his palace, everybody, I think we don't have time to go into the whole story. He tried lots of things. He tried aestheticism. He tried starving himself. He tried all kinds of different ways to achieve enlightenment.
Yeah.
And then one day he just went, right, I'm sitting under this tree until it happens. And then he faced lots of challenges there, the kind of arrows coming at him, which he turned into flowers, and seduction from the daughters of a demon, and all of this. These are all challenges that they all come to us. And actually, we're connecting to peace, we're connecting to our breath, we're connecting to stillness, we're being kind to ourselves, and giving other people the benefit of the doubt. And you're going to judge other people. You're going to do it. But like when you do it, just realize I just judged somebody. And actually, it's not my place to be judging anyone. But I did it anyway. That's okay. And I'm going to try and not do it the next time. And then you judge somebody again. And then you go, but what happens is, like, sometimes you can think, well, I should just give up on that. But actually what's happening is you're becoming more aware of what it's like when you judge somebody, and you're becoming more committed to not doing it, for instance. So it's a pretty weavy, wobbly kind of path. It's a very narrow path, which is why we keep straying off it and finding that we get ourselves caught up in the brambles and the weeds and the stones and the thistles and the nettles and all the kind of biting things. And then it gets really rough on the side, and then you come back and you find the thing that works for you, and then you're just becoming a more peaceful, more aware, more compassionate people. And one of the things that the Buddhists talk about is, like, the most precious jewel on the planet is a truly compassionate person.
Wow. That, that's kind of thoughtful. And I would say true. And sometimes there's been moments in my life when the most valuable thing that I needed at the time was a compassionate person. I
Yeah,
believe that.
yeah. Right, so I think sorry, it was a bit of a monologue from me. I do apologise for that. Should we? Oh, Mason, you lead these. I love the way you lead the meditations. Do you want to? Would you like to help us close with a closing meditation?
Sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Um,
Just a 5 minute.
yeah.
It'll take us up to, and then we'll have been around on for about an hour.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Okay, let's kind of exit the same way that we entered. And thanks for the compliment on the meditation, and thanks for the discussion about everything today. It was awesome sharing with you. Um, but yeah, just to simply close the way we'll just lead with a meditation. So similarly to before, get comfortable. Just ask you to get comfortable in your seat, and try to uh, try to recall by memory the feeling that we invoked or invited at the beginning of today's session. The feeling that perhaps you got in touch with while you were meditating, and just recall it by memory for a moment. Um, and what an intention is with this meditation is we'll try and take that forward. So continue noticing, or notice, try to sink in towards that feeling now. Try to become familiar with that feeling again in the ways that you know how, with monitoring your breath, noticing how you're sitting, making any small adjustments that you feel you need to that would help you relax. The reason we want to relax is because we're listening, and relaxing is a form of listening. When you're busy tensing, and you have tension with a thought, even if it's a micro tension like your jaw, your face, try to relax your face right now, relax your jaw, relax your face. Helps the rest of your body feel your shoulders sink. It's hard to listen when even that amount of tension is going on. So you're trying to listen for that peace to arise. That peace arises from observing. And even as you're observing now, I'll comment with you, Mike, because I'm watching you. It looks like you're yawning a bit. Looks like perhaps with the release of tension, the yawn, the expression has space to come through. And just allowing that to come through, just giving your body the space it needs to yawn, to stretch, to move. Maybe you didn't realize how sore your back was. Now you can have more attention for it. And recall that feeling of calmness and maybe almost power or like slight invigoration from being present just before. And hold that close to you. Hold it like a torch or like a sword in your mind's eye. That feeling. Try to tap into that feeling however you can with your imagination. Maybe you don't need to imagine a sword. You remember the feeling in your body, the physical sensations. And as we go through the rest of the day today, try to recall this feeling by memory. Try to recall this feeling and see how is the feeling you're recalling right now tapping into. Is it similar to the feeling that was done in the first meditation? Is it calming? Is it nice? Is it empowering? Try to go through the day today and recall, how was it getting to into this feeling? How was it to create this feeling? How difficult was it? How smooth was it to get in touch with this feeling? Is it easier this second time than it was the very first time to create it? Is it created now that you have it with you and it's about recalling rather than recreating with a perhaps daunting thought of meditation? Try to carry this feeling with you through the day. Try to keep this feeling on your belt loop and know that anytime you make time to come into this feeling, like the way we're doing now, you're adding life to it, you're giving life to it, you're breathing into it, you're making it more of a tool on your tool belt. You're practicing grabbing it, you're practicing drawing it out of its holster, you practice using it against being hijacked. So come back to the space casually, slowly, as we'll sign off. We went a few breaths over time there, but I think it's okay. I think it's really okay. Everything's okay. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mason, and thank you to everybody who's either with us live or is watching the replay, and just sending out lots and lots and lots of love to our co-host Jeremy, who can't be with us at the moment because he's elsewhere doing other things. Thinking about you, sending you lots of love through the palms of the hands, just kind of
Yeah.
and thank you to everybody, and we'll be back next Sunday live on YouTube and on Zoom for those who want to find the website. Courses for the word FOR for Courses for Spirit .ca for Canada, because as you notice, Mason's Canadian, so is Jeremy. I'm the only Brit on the team. So Courses for Spirit.ca, and if you go and click on the workshops link, you can find, if you wanted to join the Zoom, you could join the Zoom, and there's a click if you want to join the YouTube live, you can join the YouTube live there. You can probably save those somehow and do that. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone, and bye for now.
Bye for now, everybody. Thank you, Mike.